Hello, this is John Baugh, and I will be your instructor for CIS 2353 Data Structures in Java. I am based out of the Orchard Ridge campus of Oakland Community College. The general course information is as follows. The when and the where is always a big question when someone takes an online course. For when, the lectures and materials will be uploaded each week by Friday. So, not necessarily on Friday, usually I get it there before. But unless barring any unforeseen circumstances, everything should be up by Friday. I don't have a specific meeting time. You don't have to meet with me online at a particular time. I just have all the lectures and materials uploaded. I record the lectures, you watch the lectures, and if you have any questions, you can post in discussion boards or email me or come visit me during my office hours. And everything in the course will be done online. We will have a midterm. And we will have some arranged times for when students can take them. And if none of them work for you, we will try to work something out for you in a proctoring arrangement. So don't sweat it. We don't have any standard time set just yet. But don't worry, we will set up something as the course progresses. So a little bit about me, in case you're not familiar with me or haven't had me for a class before. My name's John Baugh. I have a master's degree in computer science from the University of Michigan, Dearborn, and I'm currently working on a PhD in information systems engineering. I am the department chair at the Orchard Ridge campus. I joined OCC about 4 years ago. Prior to that, I worked for Siemens PLM Software in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where I was a software engineer for about 5 years. Prior to that, I was a research assistant at the University of Michigan, where I worked in the Vehicular Networking Systems Research Laboratory. So that's enough about me. My office, though, is at room F117. Make sure you come to the Orchard Ridge campus, though, or you're going to be having a conversation probably with a broom inside of a broom closet. The F117 can sometimes be confusing, the letter names, because a couple of the campuses use the letters. So you have to make sure you're on the right campus. Office hours. We have Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Mondays will be a loosely arranged 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. online. That will generally take the form of me trying to be more attentive to the email during that time. But we will, if I don't get to your question right away, don't freak out. I try to get to your emails as soon as I can throughout the week, not just on Mondays. If we have to meet and you can't meet face to face, coming to campus, etc., we will try to arrange something through, say, Google Hangout or Zoom or Adobe Connect or something. So don't fret, we will work out something. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have the same in-person meeting times, 2:30 to 5:45 p.m. I teach a course early in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and also 2 courses later in the evening on Tuesdays and Thursdays this semester. So let me think. C++ I teach on Tuesdays, and then I teach Java 2 on Thursday nights. But also note that the office hours are subject to change. Okay. My email is jpbaugh@oaklandcc.edu. Please make sure that when you email me from your at student.oaklandcc.edu. It is actually an organizational policy now that in order to respond with pretty much any useful information, we have to make sure that you are who you say you are. So make sure that you email from your oaklandcc.edu, your student.oaklandcc.edu mailing address. The course objectives are that students will investigate the programming techniques and theories involved in implementing linked lists, queues, stacks, and tree structures. Recursion, searching techniques, and sorting algorithms will also be considered. Students will be required to complete computer-based assignments inside and outside of class. So we will, the course is primarily focused on data structures in Java, but also there's an algorithm component with recursion, searching techniques, and sorting algorithms, because we know that the two primary things that make up any program are a set of instructions and then the data that the instructions work with. So the data that the instructions work with often take the form of these data structures, which can be fairly complex. And the instructions themselves are organized into algorithms. So when you see data structures and algorithms, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the actual data and the instructions. Prerequisites for this course: you should have CIS 2151, which is Java Programming 2, or equivalent experience. The textbook is William Collins, Data Structures and Java Collections Framework, 3rd edition by Wiley, and I put the ISBN number right here. There are plenty of other textbooks on data structures, and I will do the lecture material primarily out of this book by Collins. So if I make references, they will be from that book. However, there are many, many different good books on data structures and Java Collections Framework, but this one is a fairly easy introduction in many ways, and it's a gentler introduction, so it's very, very good for a community college setting where people have a wide variety of mathematical background, but it should go quite well for you if you're comfortable with your Java 2 material. The topics covered during the course. Specific topics include review of object-oriented concepts, so we'll talk about Java in general and move into a review of the OOP concepts, object-oriented programming, and even design concepts. We'll talk about analysis of algorithms, so if you ever see algorithm analysis as part of the name of a course at some other institutions, that's what we're talking about here, analysis of algorithms. We'll look at algorithms and try to say, is there a way to compare them? Is there a way to look at them and say, well, what can we do to make them more efficient, or what can we do to compare them and see which is best in certain circumstances, etc. We'll also talk about the Java Collections Framework, recursion, which you should have some experience with from your previous Java encounters, but we will talk about it again. And then we will talk about lists. This is when we get into the meat of the course, starting with the lists. The previous stuff, and actually, well, analysis of algorithms is fairly new, and even some of the Java collection framework, but much of this stuff is review. The lists, though, are the meat of the course. We start talking about data structures and how to look at data structures and compare them. So there are different types of lists. We'll talk about the list abstract data type, and then talk about the specific data structures that are implemented, such as the array-based list and also link structure-based lists. We will also talk about stacks and queues, binary trees and binary search trees, which are very useful, sorting, tree maps and sets, priority queues, also called heaps, hashing, and graphs, trees, and networks. So all of this has a very, very strong impact on many different areas of technology, not just software development. We have things that affect operating systems, they affect networks, they affect databases. So understanding the data structures is very, very important. So the website, Supplementary Information, will be available via Desire to Learn. You go to oaklandcc.edu currently, and you click on Distance Learning, which is off to the side, and then log in. They will, or allegedly, they will be changing the website soon, so it may be updated. Instead of distance learning, it might say something like online learning, but you should be able to find it anyway. As far as email is concerned, again, I mentioned earlier, all students must use their student.oaklandcc.edu email account. If you're not sure what it is, you need to contact IT services. If you have any questions about the course or need assistance, please contact me by email, and I will respond as quickly as possible. Grading and evaluation. For most of my courses, programming courses at least, I have 3 primary programming projects and then a 4th capstone project, which is not necessarily any more difficult than the other 3 programming projects. It's just worth more points, and it sometimes has a lot of effort involved in it, but not always any more than the others. But it does serve as a culmination of what you've learned in the course. There will be a midterm examination, which is worth 100 points, which is the same as the first programming project. Notice there is no final exam. Okay, I typically, for programming courses, I focus on the capstone project rather than having a final. Even though it's important to understand terminology and to be able to describe programs, I'm more interested in you producing proper code, good code, rather than being able to regurgitate and circle the right answer on a test. There will also be other optional homework. I may or may not assign any. This varies as far as the point value is concerned and when they're assigned. They are not on the official schedule on the syllabus, so just keep your eye out and make sure that you're aware of where they are. Standard grading scale, 95 to 100 is an A, 90 to 94 is an A minus, etc., all the way down to an F. Please don't shoot for an F. It's very difficult to get an F. This course is actually fairly challenging. However, it would be difficult to get an F if you don't put in effort and you don't turn in your assignments on time and study for your test. Then you're probably going to head more toward this area down here. If you do all these things, then it's much more likely that you will end up here. Projects and homework, I just noted that there will be ultimately 4 programming projects. 1 capstone project to grow your skill at programming and problem solving. Additional homework may be assigned at my discretion and may include questions, research, or small programming activities. So how do you submit? I won't read this whole thing. You can read it yourself. However, I reserve the right to take off deductions for every day that the assignment's late, and then after a certain number of business days, the assignment will no longer be accepted unless an exception is approved. I'm generally fairly lax with this stuff, but I've had some students abuse it recently, so I may start cracking down on some of this. So please, please, please try to get your assignments in on time, but I can waive any penalties due to extenuating circumstances. This is the 15-week tentative course outline. Notice the full semester dates are from September the 3rd, 2015 to December the 21st, 2015. The last day to drop the course, I would hope that you would have decided to drop it far before then, but you can drop the course up to November the 20th. All right, so here is our schedule. The first week, I will generally have under D2L, you'll notice I've actually created a folder here in D2L. There's syllabus. The video will be posted here too. And then week 1, I have some slide decks up there and then also lecture notes. I will often lecture off of the lecture notes themselves rather than slides. Sometimes I'll use slides. It just kind of depends on what's important that week, what I think you need reinforced. You are responsible, regardless, for reading through the slide decks, even if it's just a cursory read, and definitely reading through the lecture notes. Note that the weeks will line up with the week number on the side here. Week 1 will be most of your review. It will include chapters 0, 1, and 2. They basically do a very, very, very large but fairly concise overview of what you should have learned up to this point. Not everything, obviously. That would be very difficult. That's why you have the Gaddis book. It's quite large. But they will, it will cover quite a few of the topics that you've learned before. So you should know most of this stuff. If not, this will dust some cobwebs off and maybe help you look at things in a slightly different way that you're not familiar with or you haven't thought of before. Week 2, we will go over algorithm analysis. Then we go over the Java collections framework, recursion, array-based list. And then by week 6, you will have your first programming assignment assigned, which will be due on the 30th of October. So you get a couple weeks to work on it, 2-3 weeks. We will start talking about lists in these 2 weeks, so that's when we actually get into the data structure component. We will then talk about stacks and queues and review for the midterm on week 7. Week 8 is the week of the midterm examination. There will be no video, most likely, of any sort. There will be no additional lecture material that you're responsible for. The review for the midterm will be in video format. The midterm will take place, I will have a couple different times that you'll be able to take it throughout the day. Maybe 1 or 2 days that week, and then if you can't make those 2 days, then we will arrange something else. So don't sweat it, don't worry, we will work out something. Even if you can't do it that week, we can try to do it maybe the week before or week after. We will work out something. As long as you're reasonable. I don't want you to say, oh, well, I can't. I'm going to take a vacation from October 22nd to December 17th. I'm just going to say, oh, must be nice. You get enough. It's probably not going to work. So binary trees, programming assignment 2 will be assigned on the 29th of October, just a day before your program 1 is due. We will talk about binary trees, then binary search trees, which are a special type of binary trees. These are highly connected, but it's kind of a new idea, so I kind of spread these out, even though I think the binary trees chapter, one of these chapters, is fairly short. We will talk about sorting, and I believe they talk a little bit about searching in this chapter, in addition to the binary search tree, but chapter 11, we will have you'll have your third programming assignment. Tree maps and tree sets. No chapters for the week of the 26th. That's Thanksgiving recess. So just you can relax or take the time to work on your programs, review material. Priority queues will be discussed on the 3rd. The 10th will be hashing, and the 12th will be graphs, trees, and networks. Also note that there are 16 weeks listed, but only 15 are instructional exam weeks because Thanksgiving recess does not count. That's why it's still a 15-week course. Policy on use of computing resources. What you do in your own time and at your own home is really between you and your ISP. So we don't really care, but as far as using computer resources on campus, please make sure you don't do anything stupid. Don't do things that are illegal. Please don't look up inappropriate material on the computers on any of the campuses. You will probably get in some sort of trouble at some point. So it's basically the computers are provided for you so that you can do research and learn what they refer to as in support of the college mission. Since you're not in a face-to-face class with me, I don't have a ton of control over what you do in the, quote, classroom, but in the labs, just be reasonable. Don't download viruses. Don't do anything stupid. Policy on plagiarism and cheating. This is from the OCC Student Life Handbook. I won't read through the whole thing, but basically don't plagiarize and don't cheat. I don't necessarily have any problem with people working together and trying to help each other, but you know, and I will know, if you both copied one another, if you're 2 or 3 in a group. I said both, but if anyone copied among themselves, I can find out pretty easily because at this level of programming, you should be able to do most of what you have yourself unless I designate it as a group assignment. ADA notification. Students requiring special assistance, including those affected by the Americans with Disabilities Act, should contact the Access Office and inform the instructor of any special conditions pertaining to their learning. If you have any issues which are causing you problems taking this in an online format, please contact me, and I will try to do my best to accommodate you as best I can. If you have behavioral or learning disabilities, then Access could allow you to have, for example, extra time on tests or assignments, and all sorts of different potential benefits to help you out to make sure that you learn as best you can. So that's what we want for all students, is that every student can learn as best as they can. FERPA, this is the Federal Education Rights and Privacy Act. College personnel cannot release students' personal information to anyone, including other students and parents and relatives, without prior written consent. If you have any questions regarding FERPA, please refer to the current college catalog. In other words, if you are even a dual enrollment student or homeschooled student that's 16 or 15 or 14 and you're taking my class, even though you are a minor, I can still not discuss your grades, your attendance, which doesn't really count in this case because it's an online course, but I can't discuss your private information with your parents unless I have prior written consent. If they want to make that whether you're an adult legally or not. If they want to make that a component of you being able to take the class, you have to write out written consent for me to give them any information they want. Then that's between you and your parents and or guardians or other relatives. But I will not do it unless I see information from with written consent. Note that all your grades will be posted on D2L. That's where we will do all of our work. So that doesn't really, this isn't going to be a huge deal. Attendance doesn't really, there's not much I can do about attendance. I can see when all of you log on and how much time you spend. So that should be another motivating factor. However, if someone's asking about grades, you can log into your Desire to Learn account and just show them your grades. If they're asking and you want them to know and they want to know, then you can do that. So everything's done through D2L. Tutors. There are tutors available in the CIS Labs and F building. Use them. Use them or lose them. This is quite literal. They reduce our tutor funding if people are not using the tutors. So on the Orchard Ridge campus, they're in F building. There are other campuses as well. If you are close to the Orchard Ridge campus, I highly recommend you come here. There are a lot of very, very good tutors, and we do a whole lot of programming language stuff here. So we do have tend to hire tutors who are better at the programming language related stuff. The disclaimer right here just basically says I can modify the course and that the syllabus acts as a set of principles and guidelines to the direction of the course, but I can change it at any time I deem necessary. This does not mean I will change it or can change it to an underwater basket weaving course. It has to stay data structures in Java. It will stay on topic pretty much, and that just means that I can change the schedule if needed. If we have a really, really crazy things happen with the technology, D2L goes down for 3 days or something like that, or if this were an in-person class, I could change some of this up if there was some ridiculous snow days. Since we're in Michigan, snow days will probably start around, I don't know, late September and end somewhere in mid to late July. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and I hope we have a great semester. Thank you very much.